Lane Community College presents the Lane Peace and Democracy Conference.
And can you really succeed in war in the first place? You know, is there such a thing as winning a war?
We have now surpassed the military budgets of the rest of the world combined.
The world can no longer entertain the delusion that the U.S. standard of living is possible for the entire planet.
I've tried the kumbaya, and we're all the same, and you know, that doesn't work anymore.
Just as war is too important to leave to the generals, civil liberties is too important to leave to the lawyers.
Women are standing up in these prestigious positions, and it's time.
We live in a society that is unequal, that is unjust, that is full of oppression and racism.
We need to commit to removal of all our forces.
And a favorite law enforcement tactic is to disturb a hive and then listen for the buzz.
You do not clear-cut forests to make toilet paper.
And then the riot police came in and told us, okay, everyone needs to stand in the sidewalk unless you want to get pepper sprayed or arrested.
And the Peace Center will be an important element in making a difference for ourselves, our community, and in time, the world.
And that all rights are equally important. The right not to be tortured or the right to vote is as important as the right to shelter and the right to food.
The biggest threat to humanity, it does come down to massive death.
Pepper spraying and shooting automatic rubber bullets into the crowd, so it sounded like machine gun, and everyone was pretty scared.
And our country has 1 out of every 100 of our people in jail.
The world economic system is destabilizing.
Terrorist acts are better treated as criminal acts with political implications rather than as an act of war.
The need to teach peace is obvious. The need to teach people other values besides war is obvious.
And if we leave it to a political party and a leader to decide whether to bring those troops home, they're not coming home.
Thank you all for taking time out of your busy world to come up here and listen to an old lady. Although I tell my kids I'm not going to be an elder until I'm 85, so I got a little ways to go. Anyway, it's really an honor to come up here to give you a little bit of what us grandmas do around the world. We have some little short DVDs here that we will run and show you, and then later on, if there's any questions, I'm still the chair of the 13 International Grandmothers. We go to every 6 months to each other's places. July the 2nd, we go to our grandmother, Bernadette Ribineau in Gabon, Africa, out of Libreville. And we've been to Santa Fe to one of our mine grandmas down there. We've been to the Pewaukee Pueblo with the grandmothers who came together over there. Next year, I'm praying hard on needing funds to bring them home to my tribe. I'm an spiritual elder of my tribe at the Confederate Tribes of Siletz, inland from Newport, Oregon, off of 101. And I hope to bring them there in 2008. So we're going to need a lot of help to do that. But anyway, I know that the Spirit is behind each and every one of us of what we're doing. We're very concerned about our planet. We're very concerned of what's happening to the polar bears dying, drowning. We're very concerned about the giraffe and the elephant and the Bengal tiger, the wolves. And we are their voice. And us 13 grandmas are your voice as we journey the world. And so we have the books that are down there. The vision that started it is in this book, and how we came together. In October 11, 2004, in Phoenicia, New York, about 2.5 hours ride from north of Albany, to back into a place called Menlo Park, where the monks go for their retreats. Beautiful place. And so we started there. We're still babies. Came together, like I said, in 2004, and this is 2008. So we are still running around the world and getting a little bit more visible, empowering women to stand up and encourage them. I leave the end of this month for Australia to the Yarti Yarti Aborigines and Sydney and Melbourne. I go back over to Perth in September to some more of the Aborigines over there in an environmental conference as a keynote speaker. And I'm very hurt in my heart when I first went over there to Australia that many of the women are about the age of you here at this group have empty arms because their babies were born and they were taken from them and sold. So here they are, no children, they can't be a grandma. And so there's a lot of stories like this over there. Many of them are raised in mission schools. Their treatment is about 20 years behind the treatment of the First Nation people in this land. And so I feel very happy about going over there and helping do what I can with the Aborigines there. I've been down in the Coorong with the Nottingerries, and they're very wonderful people. And so anyway, I hope you enjoy a little bit here. Some of you that are in the audience may have seen some of this footage. And keep your money in your sock, because we got a movie coming out probably in October of us grandmothers. And it'll be for the next number 7 generations. It doesn't have the letter 7 written out. It's just the number 7. For the next 7 generations of our movie, our books are downstairs, and Grandmother's Council of the World. And it's got each of us in there in our own words of what we're doing. Our book is one of the top 10 in the nation. It's in its 4th edition. And so far there's 5 other countries that have are publishing our book. And I got it in Japanese. Can't read it, but I got it in Japanese. And it's really awesome that other countries are having a little bit of struggle with the word grandmother in their language, but it's really catching on all over the world. Just because you're gray-headed, you don't need to just sit and take up space. You can move around and be this voice. You are, when you get to be a grandparent, you are a wisdom keeper, and all that wisdom needs to come back out. And so I really pray that all our grandmas can come together when we get to leave for Gabon. And so there's about 4 of us going to Australia this month. Next month now, I guess, March. But anyway, let's roll these and see what you think. Afterwards, if there's any questions, be free to ask. the building in San Francisco, and he had his arm around Seeley and I, and he touched my chin, and he said, "Is that tribal?" I said, "Yes." He stepped out, stepped back, kissed me on the cheek, and I got it.
It is our 5th time here with Bridges. We decided to start coming here with workshops, bringing photographers from America to come here and help train them in some of the photographic techniques. We have found that photography and storytelling is a good way to bring children and people together across cultures.
My name is Kaki. I'm 14 years old and in the 9th grade at Tibetan Children's Village School in Dharamsala. Here at TCV, most of the students are refugees from Tibet.
These are some of the children in the Bridges program that are learning to make digital stories, putting them up on the internet to share with children around the world.
This week, 13 indigenous grandmothers from all over the world came here to pray for world peace and Tibet's freedom. We wanted to ask the indigenous grandmothers how they pray.
As grandmothers, we use different, we use feathers, herbs, medicine, and water, and stones. We use stones, a fire. Those are our prayers.
Long time ago, we have ancestors. They were in that time, our ancestors, the ones that were here before us. They included you. They included us, those of us that are living in this world today. They said a prayer for us. They said a prayer. They said, ask the Creator to bless the future generations that were coming behind them.
You are flowers for my heart. I always pray very early in the morning, during the whole day, for everything I do, I'm praying. And my way of praying is almost singing. The fire sings, the wind sings, the water sings, the earth sings. So we sing also to give thanks to Creator.
Sometimes it is hard to pray. Prayer sometimes makes me sleepy.
Eu peço a Santa Estrela que nos guia, força para as crianças trabalhar. Eu peço a Santa Estrela que nos guia, força para as crianças trabalhar. Abençoe a todos pequeninos, os meninos e as meninas do astral.
Can we turn off the lights? Kill all the lights.
My name is Kaki. I was born here in Dharamsala. My father was a refugee who escaped from Tibet in 1985 after spending 3 years in prison. I didn't know either of my grandmothers when I was growing up. All I knew about my grandmothers was that they had white hair and walked slow. When I first saw the 13 grandmothers, I was scared, but when I smiled at them, they smiled back, and I felt that they were very sweet. Their prayer song sounded different from our Buddhist prayers, but they all had the same intentions as us. Also, I had no idea of what to expect from a grandmother. Finally, after waiting for a long time, since my birth, I found what I was wishing for.
It is to my knowledge that you are a very newly formed Grandma's Association.
So, I would like to express my congratulations. Grandmother means, I think, a lot of experiences. Yes, if I am not a monk, I also may be grandfather. I'm grandfather, you are grandfather. This is not yet. So I feel, you see, the older people now should take a more active role in the society. I always feel, you see, the seed of my compassion come from or learn from my mother. Right. So therefore, mother is the real teacher of the value of compassion, value of protection. In order to develop compassion in the society, mother's role is very, very crucial.
Maria Alice, Brazil, Amazon,
I think in various fields of human activities like economy, including politics, in every field, I think female should take more role.
We are the International Council of the 13 Indigenous Grandmothers. We have united as one. Ours is an alliance of prayer, education, and healing for Mother Earth and her inhabitants, all of the children, and for the 7 generations to come. My name is Agnes Pilgrim. That's my English name. My native name is Tawiwi. If we don't quit making garbage dumps out of our rivers and streams, we're getting more and more in trouble.
My name is Beatrice Long Visitor Holy Dance. Rita Long Visitor Holy Dance.
My name is Flor de Mayo.
I am Red Spider Woman.
My name is Trindroma Geldon.
Je suis Bernadette Rebieno.
I'm Rita Blumenstein, and I don't look like Blumenstein, but I am.
Buddhi Maya Lama.
My name is Clara Shinobu Iura.
Soy Julieta Casimiro.
My name is Mona Palaka.
Maria Alice Campos Freire.
Look at the nature, look at the water, look at this air, look at this fire, the sun even. Look at this earth. We are in the 11th hour.
When we say the moment is now, we have to put our voice, this is what we have to do, I believe.
You're now looking at a very solid, strong, powerful International Council of the 13 Indigenous Grandmothers.
What from our traditions are we going to move forward with?
The only way to survive is through prayer. We can talk about many things, but if we don't have that prayer, we will never succeed.
L'environnement. We are fighting to conserve the environment.
C'est là notre pharmacie.
This is our pharmacy.
Much of our medicine comes from plants of the forest, homeopathics, and creams made at the Medicina de Floresta. This plant here is very good for the liver. It's called sakaka.
I work with the holy children, the sacred mushroom. I was 17 years old when my mother-in-law introduced me to them. Those sacred mushrooms give you light. They give the light of understanding, of knowledge, and the light of truth.
As women, we are the givers of life. We're the only ones in the world that can carry more than one spirit in us.
The conserver of our beliefs.
C'est la femme.
Is the woman.
Le temps est court.
Time is short.
Le temps nous appelle.
Time is calling us.
We are 13 indigenous grandmothers. We gathered from the 4 directions from the Amazon rainforest. The vast plains of North America, the Arctic Circle, the Black Hills of South Dakota, the Great Forest of the American Northwest, the highlands of Central America, the mountains of Mexico, the desert of the American Southwest, the mountains of Tibet, and from the rainforest of West Africa.
Look at the nature, look at the water, look at this air, look at this fire, the sun even. Look at this earth. We are in the 11th hour.
Mother Nature's angry. And we're not going to fix it unless we change.
Or if we don't take care of the animal kingdom, we are destroying ourselves at a rapid rate. If we don't quit making garbage dumps out of our rivers and streams, we're getting more and more in trouble.
In my homeland, in my village, there is violence. What is happening in my village is happening in the world.
I live on a reservation, Northern Cheyenne. The day before yesterday, I came here. There were 2 shootings on the reservation. One death, 1 wounded.
There's got to be a change, and there's got to be a better way.
If we don't listen, if we don't come back to the original people, we won't wake out of this nightmare.
On ne doit plus reculer.
We can't go backwards anymore.
On ne doit plus avoir peur.
We can't have fear anymore.
Le temps est court.
Time is short.
Le temps nous appelle.
Time is calling us.
Some of our Western grandmothers are here. They're coming to meet with this council, share with this council, to dream with this council.
My name is Gloria Steinem. I come from the tribe that has lost its memory.
I am not a preacher. Indeed, I like to tell people I am a recovering politician.
My name is Alice Walker, and I come from the South. But before coming from the South, I think I must have come from the stars.
My name is Tenzin Palmo. I'm from London, but for the last 40 years I have been living in India.
My name is Helena Norberg Hodge, and I'm Swedish, English, and German. But I've had the very, very great privilege of living for the last 30 years in a part of Tibet called Ladakh.
I am Chief Yanifa Louis Satish. I am an elder in the Ifa Orisha tradition of southwest Nigeria, and I come to you by way of New Orleans, Oakland, and the world.
Today, we're sitting here with you, with our Western sisters, with each and every one of you that have come from whatever walk of life you come from. And you know, we're all faced with a challenge. What from our traditions are we going to move forward with?
I believe that through prayer we can change our way of thought.
Oh, Creator, Great Spirit God, grateful to you for these divine holy elements, the water, the air, this ground fire, this Mother Earth, all these things that give us our everyday life. I'm grateful to you for it.
Most of the time I say a prayer with songs.
It's the only way to survive is through prayer. We can talk about many things, but if we don't have that prayer, we will never succeed.
Tous les matins,
Every morning,
au lever du soleil,
at sunrise,
je côtoie la forêt.
I go near the forest.
La forêt,
In Africa, nature and plants, those are our parents.
que la médecine traditionnelle,
The traditional medicine
est aussi vieille que le monde.
is as old as the world.
I work with the holy children, the sacred mushroom. I was 17 years old when my mother-in-law introduced me to them. Those sacred mushrooms give you light. They give the light of understanding, of knowledge, and the light of truth.
La médecine moderne
Meanwhile, the modern medicine
considère seulement le côté physique de l'homme.
only considers the physical side of man.
Ils n'ont rien à faire avec l'esprit.
It has nothing to do with the spirit.
Or, on ne peut pas faire marcher une voiture sans le moteur.
But you can't drive a car without the engine.
Our sacred plants that are healing so many people that come from all over the world, they are not respected.
L'environnement,
So we are fighting to conserve the environment.
c'est là notre pharmacie.
This is our pharmacy.
As women, we are the givers of life. We're the only ones in the world that can carry more than one spirit in us. We are multimodal. Because when I was young, I could nurse my child and stir the stew and kick the cat out at the same time.
Femme soit consultée.
Nothing happens in my country without consulting the woman.
Pour la simple raison que la force tranquille,
For the simple reason that the gentle power, the gentle strength,
la conservatrice de nos croyances,
that the conserver of our beliefs
c'est la femme.
is the woman.
When Tibet was still independent, women were very powerful. They could hold the spiritual teachings as the male teachers did. They were also acted as warriors.
How many of you are remembering your grandmother? Are the one that stood behind her? Are the one that stood behind her? Are the one that stood behind her till you get to the first one of them all?
I'd like to know if each one of the grandmothers sitting here at the table have decided to formalize this group, to become a formalized organization.
S'il vous plaît,
Please,
essayons de créer cette alliance,
let's create this alliance,
la main dans la main.
hand in hand.
I think it's important that we have an organization that speaks for peace and for the well-being of all, that the grandmothers are able to pass along these teachings to the next generation.
This is new for her. But she thinks that if we're going to be able to speak our voice, and our voice is going to be heard around the planet, and our voice is going to take wings. Then she said she agreed with it.
When we say the moment is now, we have to put our voice, this is what we have to do, I believe.
You're now looking at a very solid, strong, powerful International Council of the 13 Indigenous Grandmothers.
Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." I think he could have added, and to the extent that we make it so. Because the grandmothers chose to share their wisdom and their experience and their love, we are here in thanksgiving for the human spirit that they reflect and the ways of the ancestors, which they preserve and invigorate. Because you are here, you will make it more likely than not that that arc of the moral universe will bend toward justice, and that this world at war with itself will have to meet in the fight that you have engaged to save it from itself. You are the embodiment of the grace and the spirit and the wisdom of the ages. You are the light of the world.
We want people to take this knowledge and to really move with it, very quickly.
Even a blind man would know there's something going on. Even a deaf person would know something would be going on in our world. So it isn't a coincidence that we're going around the globe being your voice, being a voice for all living things, telling people that this is a time that you can make your prayers. Shut this stinking thing down, do your 18-inch journey and get into your heart. Because the eye of your heart bypasses all faults and others. This is a time that we need to use the word love in our own selves so that we can give it to everybody else, to create the peace here so that we can give it out to people around the world. You have to have it here first. And it is time that everybody begins to do something to make a difference in your community, your home, whatever it is, recycling, whatever the teaching in the classroom. I teach in the classrooms about to the young people about the water, about not shooting the birds, because we have a place down there where we've got a lot of damaged animals that can't ever go back into the wild. A lot of them are eagles, which are very sacred to us Native people. And so I think that for us to be speaking around the world to governments, that this love has to come from all our hearts. We got to quit looking at each other that I'm better than you or you're better than I am or whatever. We got to quit looking at color. We got to look at people as human beings, created by the same creator, each of us. We're all part of the fabric. We're all connected to each other and to the animal kingdom. And it is time for us to walk that path. You knew when you were 5 years old when you said something wrong and when you did something wrong. So here you are, the adults today, and you still know that. You know when you get too radical and you're too far out here. You know it. You know when you get too far over here. So to walk your talk, I've been on panels with a lot of people of the cloth. And I told the rabbi, who was my friend, Rabbi David, I said, the devil goes in churches on 2 legs. He said, you're right, Grandma. You're right. So if there's a God, then there's a devil, right? Negativism, all kinds of terrorism, all of that doesn't come from our Creator. And so I always give prayers to the Creator about terrorism, that the Creator has the magic wand that can take that darkness and put it into light. And so you could do the same, to pray about the darkness. And it is time to realize that we as adults, wherever we live, are taking care of our community and our home in a good way so that the 7 generations ahead can walk in the beauty that we have here today. And that's what our grandmas are trying to do. Because when the water is gone, all life is gone. So how do you manufacture water when it's gone? That's why I tell people, remember, you're all water babies. You're born in the amniotic sac and water. So you better tell water every day, because it can hear that it's precious. Drinking water is just not quenching thirst. It's lubricating and blessing all the way through your system. It's an element that your whole body will need, especially when you get older. If you are arthritic, the best thing that you can drink is pure water, because all the chemicals that's in pure water is what you need to oil your joints. Being your water babies, it'll always call you. And it can hear, so you better tell it when you shower and you bathe in it, how sacred it is and how it is to bless you and cleanse that aura around your body. So many things that we have lost touch with. Our First Nation people have indelible umbilical cord connected to our Earth Mother, because we know where our strengths are, that we know where our life comes from. We know that everything that sustains us comes from our Earth Mother. And we know that her blood, the water, is sacred, and the rocks are her bones. We know on this Turtle Island that it's never too late to save the world. And you're all in this leaky canoe with us grandmas. And we all need to be doing something and speaking out and using your voice for things that could do better. I always bless the watersheds down where I live, because I feel that they are doing what our ancestors left them with, that responsibility of their unfinished job. And the watersheds are taking care of all those things. And so I really bless the watersheds. They asked me to come up next week to bless Mount Ashland again, and for the snow, and to talk to the people about water can hear, and how sacred it is, that every day you need to, when you drink your water, do a ritualistic thing in the morning, and thank the water for sustaining your life, and for sustaining all life. Thank it for sustaining life all over the world. Thank the Creator for help cleaning it up. Many people are cleaning it up. I was in New York, and they're cleaning up the Bronx and the river there and the Hudson, to where the little beaver came back, that they named him Jose the Beaver, that took front page news for days and weeks. And I thought that was pretty nice, because a beaver won't build a dam unless the water is good. And a dam, a beaver dam, acts like a filter, like a coffee filter does. And a dam will do that to a river, only if the water is good and it filters the water. So when Jose came back over there, I thought, whoa, I cried, because I said that's an affirmation from our Creator that people are doing something right. So along our rivers around where I live, I did 13 years of the sacred salmon ceremony on the Applegate River in the old way of the people. And one of the reasons I did that, to let people that live along that river to police it. It's not a garbage dump. I did 1 year, last year, the 14th year, and the first on the Rogue River, at a place where my people have been doing the sacred salmon ceremony for thousands of years. Very well attended, very spiritual. I furnish everything from Friday to Sunday, food, drinks, everything for each meal. And you're welcome to come. It's second Saturday in June, the 14th. It's the 13th, 14th, and 15th. And I got people coming from Florida, New York, Missouri, Wisconsin, and more people are understanding why I did it. To teach reciprocity, how to give back. The second year, in 1994, I started second year state fish and game camp. I said, we don't know what you've done, There's more fish in that river we ever heard of. I said, I didn't do anything. I just prayed. And the Creator blesses us when you do things in a good way with a good heart. And so it's still that way on the road, on the Applegate. And so last year, when they got through with the sweat lodge and the purification sweat, and the guys were out there kind of picking up at things, they looked down, and where they were diving in this pool, there was a great big salmon. I said, oh, thank you, Grandfather. What an affirmation that we're doing the right thing there, too. And so, again, I'm teaching people that those rivers have life. My old people said, when you sat by the river, the table was set. They knew, too, that there was something that they got from the river when they sat beside it. And they called it water spirits. They weren't a rocket scientist, but they knew something was there. And so they found out that it was the positive ions in water that cleansed them and their aura around their body and took the negative ions away. And so water is a precious, precious element that without it we will never make it. And as I journey the world to looking at the Earth Mother's blood, I have God's water all over the world. And they even sent me some from England. And there's a man here who said he'll send me some down from the Yukon. And so water is a very big concern of us grandmothers. Not only because we're water babies, because we want people from the 7th generation, the unborn, that they too will have a chance like we have. They too, that how many of you are here in here grandparents? Let's see your hands. Bless your heart. Bless your heart. The rest of you are in training. So listen good to your elders, because they have the wisdom. I told the grandma right here, I said that you're the wisdom keeper, you know. And so all this knowledge that us grandmas have is all going to flow back out all over the world. Is there any questions about the film? You know, it was really a precious thing to come together. It was so spiritual with all of us in New York and the support of the Western women for Gloria Steinem and Alice Walker, The Color Purple, and the lady from first black woman from Congress. So many. So, huh?
Was that Shirley Chisholm?
No. And of course, she said she made a testimony that she was a recovering politician. And so they were backed by many, many people, so many people. We're being helped by Fonda, Jane Fonda. There's others. When we were back in Santa Fe, the mayor gave us a key to the city. I told him we should have given us a key to the bank. And because there's always funds, it's going to take about $250,000 to get us to Gabon and back. And so look up the Laughing Willow on the internet. They're needing some funds. Look up the Center for Sacred Studies. That's where you can get a 501c3 on your donation. You can look at my website, www.agnesbakerpilgrim.org or 111@agnesbakerpilgrim.com. And so there's a lot of things, even though you live here. We get donations of people we've never met, never heard of, maybe will never meet. But bless their hearts that they do something. And so it's been a wonderful coming together. For more grandmas signed up than the 13. But the others dropped off, and we all thought number 13 was a good number, because there's 13 moons in the year and 13 big planets in the heavens. So it has this credibility, and it's not a coincidence for any of us to be together like this. To be able to travel the world and to be able to speak to governments and stuff for peace. It is time the blood should stop running, you know, and I think we've had enough of that. And many people in those countries are already begging for it to stop. And it is time. And so join with us with prayer that peace will come to our world, you know, and everybody will start taking care of the water and all the rivers and streams. Down where I live, if you look at Crater Lake as its head, and the Rogue River as its spine, and its tail goes out at Goat Beach, Our First Nation people walked and traded all along those rivers and streams, and they didn't damage it either. So we need to come back to that old paradigm they had and move it forward and take care of our forests and take care of the land like they did. Because they said use things in moderation, do things in balance. We kind of walked away from those teachings because now we got a hole in the ozone layer. Smog in our cities because they're cutting down so much of the green. When we were in Delhi, we couldn't even see the sky because there was so much smog around their airport. Mexico City, same way. And so it's pretty sad and it's scary if you journey the world and look at it. We have an eagle-eye view of what's going on.